All right, guys, in this video, I'm going to walk you through evaluating your own results. Okay, I've got a couple of KPI sheets pulled up in the background here, and I'm going to cover them with you guys on a KPI basis so you can get a feel for how you should evaluate your own results when they come in. Now, I do have a couple of campaigns here, one that did kind of bad, one that did kind of good, and one that did absolutely insane. Okay, so we're going to just cover these briefly. Now, on the one that did kind of bad, we got 1,169 dials, 84 people picked up the phone, and 2 became a lead. Now, how do we gauge these results? Well, let's go and start with the contact rate. So the contact rate was 7.19%. All right, now 7.19%, that is a little below average. I would love to see a minimum of 8% on these campaigns, okay? Now, in other campaigns, we do see results up to 12%, even up to 13% sometimes. Now, 8% is still decent. It's perfectly average. So the way I would gauge it is 8 to 9 is decent, 9 to 11 is good, and 11 plus is great. So that's how I would gauge our internal results on the contact rate. And the contact rate is how many people picked up the phone divided by how many dials we made, just so you know. All right. So the next important KPI is the accuracy rate on these records. So we spoke to 84 people and 13 people told us that we had the wrong number. Right? Now, what that means is we had an 85% accuracy rate. That is actually very good. Very, very good, which means that 85% of the people that answered were actually the owner of the property we were calling about. So I just love that. Then we have leads generated. So we only generated 2 leads on 1,100 dials, which is less than 1 lead per 500 dials. So that is definitely an indicator that things are not going very well. One thing I recommend that we want to see is a minimum of 2 leads per 500 dials on average. So that's not just one time, one campaign, but that's over a series, maybe a month or over 2,000 dials. If we're averaging a minimum of 2 leads per 500 dials, you're doing good. And you will absolutely close a deal with positive ROI. If you're at 1 lead per 500 dials, it's definitely going to get expensive quickly. You will most likely get positive ROI, but it's going to cost more money to get there. So those are indicators that maybe we should take a change and pivot on that market, maybe go somewhere else, maybe go to a less saturated area, whatever that looks like. Now let's go over texting. Now this actually did pretty decent considering how few went out. So with texting, we sent out 454 text messages, 45 people responded, and 2 became a lead. Now, if you're averaging 2 leads per 500 text messages, that's pretty decent. I would say that that is perfectly average, okay? And that can go up, and we have seen that recently, and I'm going to show you another campaign here so you can see the results. But 2 leads per 500, I would consider that average and good the same way with the dials. So let's move on to the next one here. We'll do another breakdown. Okay, on this one, we did 1,058 dials, 75 people picked up the phone, and 9 became a lead. Okay, now those are good numbers. The other one, we did 1,000 dials and 2 became a lead. Well, this one, we did 1,000 dials and 9 became a lead. So that's amazing. Now let's see if there's any difference in the statistics. Now, one is going to be the contact rate. It was very similar. Okay, and it's probably because this is in the same exact area. Okay, and we'll find that in the similar areas, you'll find similar results. Now, the lists are a little bit different. Okay, but this is 7.09%, so roughly the same contact rate. And we had an 85% accuracy rate, so roughly the same there as well. And we also got 9 leads. Now, 9 leads on 1,000 dials is 2.5 leads per 500 dials. Okay, so definitely important to note there. That is a good number, and that is right where you want to be. So definitely love that. And the stats are good. Now, if we go down to texting, texting didn't actually do so hot, ironically. And we did 765 texts, 90 replied, which that's a lot. That's more than 10%. It's a good number. That means probably 50% saw it. 90 replied, but 0 turned into a lead. So what we're finding here is the first market responds well to texting and bad to calling. The second list types responded great to calling and bad to texting. And now let's get into our third analysis. Now, this campaign is pretty stellar across the board. I will have a disclosure statement, and that is that this is our most successful campaign we've ever had. So I just want to share that with you guys as far as lead flow. This client got like 113 leads for a $1,200 purchase. That was the King Kong. That prices did just go up recently. So that package is $1,400 now. But in this campaign, we did 3,000 dials, 335 people picked up. So this is already an 11.17% contact rate. Okay, amazing, 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 amazing. That's way more people. And then 48 became a lead. Absolutely insane, absolutely insane. Now, out of the 335 people we spoke to, only 52 told us we had a wrong number. Now, that might seem like a lot, but God, we spoke to 335. So we actually had an 84% accuracy rate, which means 84% of the people that we called said that they own the property we were calling about. Amazing, amazing numbers. Then let's move down into texting. We did 1,500 text messages. 158 people replied, and 57 of those people became leads. Again, that's the craziest results I've ever seen in my life. This guy averaged 19 leads per 500 texts using our system. Let's just say he's a customer for life, clearly. Dan, much respect. Appreciate you, brother. And then even on his cold calling, he averaged 8 leads per 500 dials. That's 4 times what I suggest to have an ROI. This was an extremely stellar campaign, and I wanted to show you guys the 3 differences in the KPIs and everything that we look at, so you can get a feel for how to gauge your own stats. One thing I will be making very soon is a lead gen cheat sheet, so you guys can see all the numbers and the ranges that I think are good. And I'll make sure to attach that to this course. But guys, I appreciate you watching. Thanks for tuning in.